to the ocean of knowledge. Let's start learning, let's start exploring. Alright, as you can see this pie chart, look at figure 1. This is a visual representation of the mode of transport and that are used by the students. It is easy to understand and data of a large group can be summarized in a very comprehensive manner. However, it is important to note that this requires some literacy skill by the audience it caters to, and in some cases training is required to interpret such signs and symbols. Another example is training course at a driving school. The learners are trained to read the traffic signs. They are trained to read these traffic signs before they appear for an exam. We can comfortably say that non-verbal communication is universal, quick, and efficient in nature, but in some cases it requires additional training or literacy skills for the receiver to comprehend the message. Then we move on to activity number 2, which states, look at the following example and write at least 3 examples of non-verbal communication to a large audience. Example, get your kids. 0 to 5 years, vaccinated, polio round scheduled for 19th and 20th October 2021 types. Then we move on to the types of non-verbal communication. Right? Now, types of non-verbal communication. Let us now discuss different types of non-verbal communication. The categorization of non-verbal forms of communication is very different since there are a number of things that come under non-verbal mode of communication. However, we can broadly categorize it as kinesics, body language, facial expression, eye contact, sign language, proxemics and chronomics, time and space, paralanguage, meta communication, haptics, touch and silence. Kinesics. Kinesics can be understood as the study of the body's physical movements for the purpose of communication. In other words, we can understand it as the way our body communicates without words and using various movements of hands, facial expressions, eye contact, etc. For example, nodding of a head communicates an acceptance or denial by the receiver during the process of communication. Some movements made by our body are conscious and some are done unconsciously. The conscious movements along with the unconscious movements play a very important role in effectively conveying our message. Let us look at the following parameters to understand kinesics in a better way, as these parameters play an important role in the business world. Give me a moment. This has gone down. Moving up. Alright, then we move on to the conscious movements along with the unconscious movements play a very important role in effectively conveying our message. Let us look at the following parameters to understand kinesics in a better way, as these parameters play an important role in the business world. Physical appearance. Personal appearance is not really part of the physical movement of the body. However, it governs our first impression in most cases. It is a prerequisite even before we begin communicating with someone. People form opinions about us just by our physical appearance. Physical appearance includes clothes, hairstyle, accessories like a watch or a pen, or the kind of perfume we wear. The purpose of clothing and other essential items like a watch or a pen has changed in today's world as mediums of expressing ourselves. A well-dressed person with appropriate accessories on him or her is considered cultured and educated as compared to a person who dresses to fulfill essential needs or does not have a neat hairstyle. Posture. Second is posture. It can be understood as the way we present ourselves. It includes the way we stand, talk, walk, sit and hold ourselves while we move around during the process of communication. It is a variable component of communication and varies according to the circumstances we face while communicating our messages. It is a very important component since it speaks volumes about our personality. A nervous posture may reflect lack of confidence or a weak command over the subject. It also explains the amount of experience we have as a communicator in a particular discourse. A confident speaker has command and experience on the topic to keep the audience interested and motivated during the process of communication. We should not fidget with our mobile phones, play with a pen, or our legs and hands should not shake in order to maintain a confident and a positive posture. Gestures. The movements we make with our hands, head or face are termed as gestures. Too many or too little gestures may impede the effectiveness of the communication. Nodding our head in negation or acceptance or a viewpoint, it appropriately supplements the verbal communication, but on the other hand, it may make it ineffective if used inappropriately. Too much or too little movement of hands should be avoided. It requires a fair amount of practice and preparation to use the gestures effectively. Facial expressions. Our facial expressions are an integral part of the communicative process. Since it expresses the intent of the speaker, we can understand the intention of the speaker by looking at the facial expressions, and hence it becomes important for the sender of the message to supplement his or her words through appropriate facial expressions. For example, a motivational speaker needs to make sure that the facial expressions are positive and show the energy that she or he wants to convey to the audience. A negative or dull facial expression will contradict a positive and a motivational message. Eye contact. Eye contact with the audience can change the effect of the message on the receiver. Our eyes communicate in various ways. A good eye contact with the listener, receiver of the message can make the conversation more powerful. On the other hand, avoiding eye contact may result in a disinterested audience and portray the speaker as weak and not confident. The audience may also have the impression that the speaker does not have a good command on the subject. It is important to establish appropriate eye contact. The speaker should not stare at the listener. Instead, try to establish contact to affirm that he or she is committed to convey the message to the listener. Maintaining eye contact reaffirms the audience about the keenness, about the confidence, about the willingness of the speaker to establish communication with the listener. However, looking down or looking away conveys that the speaker is shy, nervous, or disinterested in the process of communication. Now we will have a look at activity number 3. Which states that collect pictures of people from newspapers, magazines or the internet. These pictures should have different emotions, expressions, gestures, and accordingly you need to interpret them. Then we move on to the sign language. Clear? Yeah. Sign language. Sign language is a highly developed system of non-verbal communication.